Namo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubheva cha Patitanang pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. It appears I summoned you, a Vaishnav. I'm chanting Vaishnav Pranam, Vaishnav is coming.
Do you know the Jai Radha Madhava song? Jai Radha Madhava. Do you know that song? So you can listen. There might be one of those songs on top of the bookshelf. Probably has it, Jai Radha Madhava. Jai Radha Madhava. Punjabi Hari. Jaya Radha Madhava. Punjabi Hari. Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhani. Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhani. Yasodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana. Yasodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari. Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari. Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhani. Vallabha Girivardhani. Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jayam Vishwahad Paramahamsa Parivakacharya Stadara Stadashri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nantakota Vaishnava Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol All glories to Sama devotees Hare Krishna All glories to Sama devotees Hare Krishna All glories to Sama devotees Hare Krishna All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Would you mind just closing that door? It's a little chilly. Thank you. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for coming to the Bhagavad-gita class. Hare Krishna. So today we're reading from Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad-gita as it is, chapter 2, text 40, entitled Contents of the Gita Summarized. Does anyone have Bhagavad-gita along with them? No? So maybe just not meant to put the songs on the floor. Thank you. So I'll just recite the Sanskrit, and if you know this verse, you can repeat along. Nihibrakama nastosti, Nihibrakama nastosti, Prachavayana vijjate, Swapamapyasya damasya, Trayati mahato bayat, Nihibrakama nastosti, Prachavayana vijjate, Swapamapyasya damasya, Trayati mahato bayat. Word for word. Na, there is not. Iha, in this yoga. Abhikrama, in endeavoring. Nashaha, loss. Asti, there is. Prachavaya, diminution. Na, never. Vijjate, there is. Suapam, a little. Api, although. Asya, of this. Damasya, occupation. Trayate, releases. Mahata, from very great. Bayat, danger. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In this endeavour, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Hare Krishna. Please repeat, in this endeavour, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Purport: activity in Krishna consciousness or acting for the benefit of Krishna without expectation of sense gratification is the highest transcendental quality of work. Even a small beginning of such activity finds no impediment, nor can that small beginning be lost at any stage. Any work begun on the material plane has to be completed, otherwise the whole attempt becomes a failure. But any work begun in Krishna consciousness has a permanent effect, even though not finished. The performer of such work is therefore not at a loss, even if his work in Krishna consciousness is incomplete. 1% done in Krishna consciousness bears permanent results, so that the next beginning is from the point of 2%. Whereas in material activity, without 100% success, there is no profit. Ajamil performed his duty in some percentage of Krishna consciousness, but the result he enjoyed at the end was 100%. By the grace of the Lord. There is a nice verse in this connection in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.17. Chaktva svadamam charanam bhujam hare bhajanda pakvo tapatitato yadi yatra kva vabhadram abhuda mushakim govata apto bachatam svadamata. If someone gives up his occupational duties and works in Krishna consciousness and then falls down on account of not completing his work, what loss is there on his part? And what can one gain if one performs his material activities perfectly? Or as the Christians say, what profiteth a man if he gains the whole world, yet suffers the loss of his eternal soul? Material activities and their results end with the body, but work in Krishna consciousness carries a person again to Krishna consciousness, even after the loss of the body. At least one is sure to have a chance in the next life of being born again as a human being, either in the family of a great cultured Brahmana or in a rich aristocratic family that will give one a further chance for elevation. That is the unique quality of work done in Krishna consciousness. Translation again, in this endeavour there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Om Ajnana Jamandasya Garanjana Salakaya Chakshumalatam Yena Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karati Vachalam Bhangam Lange Te Garim Yatkripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dena Taranam. Hare Krishna. Hi, welcome to Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad-gita class. So, every verse in Bhagavad-gita is very, very powerful. This is one of the most well-known verses. And it's very relevant, very poignant, because it's stating the power of devotional service, that even if one performs a slight amount of devotional service with sincerity, he's benefited unlimitedly. As Srila Prabhupada says, even if we make 1% advancement towards Krishna in this life, if that's all we progress, then our next life we start at 2%. There's no loss or diminution. That advancement we make towards Krishna and loving Krishna, understanding Krishna, becoming self-realized, perfecting our life, engaging in Krishna's service, is never lost. It's in our eternal bank balance. But like Srila Prabhupada says, a material business, if it's not 100% successful, it's considered a failure. And even if it is 100% successful on the material platform, it's without Krishna consciousness, it's still a failure. Ultimately, on the spiritual platform, it's a failure because we can't take whatever you gain in this world. You create a successful business and you make lots of money and lots of followers and lots of fame. You can't even take any of that with you, not even 1%. And you can't take this body with you. But people are striving so hard, working so hard in this world, thinking that the goal of life is to make lots of money, build up their little empire, become famous, acquire so many material possessions. And it's all due to ignorance. They have no understanding of the real goal of life. Na te vidu svatam gatim hivishnum darasya yebehe atmana andayatandai upaniyamanas tepisti tantram uri damnibada. States in the Srimad Bhagavatam that the blind people are led by other blind leaders, and the result is they've all fallen into the ditch of ignorance. So there's so many we can see in this world, so many blind leaders, so-called leaders, politicians, prime ministers, kings, queens, school teachers, university teachers, parents. But where is that teacher that is teaching this most important knowledge, the science of the soul? Even the big universities, Srila Prabhupada says, where is that university that teaches the science of the soul, teaches the difference between the soul and the body? Where is the university that teaches knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and the living being's eternal relationship with Him, our duties and relationship with God, and where we go beyond this life? Even the great universities, Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge, there's no course on this most important subject matter. So therefore this verse, Na te vidu svatam gatim vishnum, states that people do not know that the goal of life is to reawaken one's eternal love for Krishna and go back to the spiritual world. But Prahlad Maharaj, in the 7th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, he states that one should take to this most important activity of devotional service Krishna consciousness even from childhood. Sri Parada Uvacha, Sri Prahlad said, Kumara acharet pagno damad bhagavatamiha dulaban manasum janma tad apyadruvam atadam. Although this human form of life is temporary like other bodies, it's very meaningful because even a slight amount of sincere devotional service can guarantee one all perfection. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj says one should take up Krishna consciousness even in the tender age of childhood. So, materially speaking, it's said that we come into this world with nothing. When baby's born, they have nothing, not even any clothes on their back, right? Totally dependent. They can't do anything. And when the person leaves at the time of death, then they go with nothing, leave with nothing as well. But there's many verses in the Bhagavad-gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, that guarantee whatever we gain in Krishna consciousness is eternally for our benefit and good fortune and for our future well-being in advancing in Krishna consciousness. Devotional service is so powerful that even if Srila Prabhupada would stress again and again, even if people once chant Hare Krishna, or they touch these books, or they eat one mouthful of prasadam, they're freed from more sins than they could commit in millions of lifetimes. So that's not just for people who are chanting Hare Krishna like very sincerely or reading these books sincerely, but even people who are chanting not even indicating Krishna, the Supreme Lord, or they're not taking this philosophy very seriously. They may open the books and they touch them and they don't really dive deep and immerse themselves in understanding this philosophy, still they're eternally and unlimitedly benefited. In the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam in relationship to Ajamil, it states, Sankecham Pariyasyam va, Stobam Helanam Evava, Vaikunthanam Agrahanam, Ashishagam Haram Vidu. One who chants Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Even jokingly, or for musical entertainment, it's said that the Beatles, they sometimes used to sail around the Greek islands on their yacht, playing on their ukuleles, chanting Hare Krishna. So some people just, for musical entertainment, they chant Hare Krishna. Some people jokingly, oh, look at those funny people, those Hare Krishnas singing in the street. Some people neglectfully, like Ajamil, he wasn't indicating God, Krishna, he was indicating his son. When he saw the Yamadutas, he called out Narayan, he was indicating his son. But still, even though it was neglectful chanting, he was saved from the Yamadutas, from going to the hellish planets, and he got an extra lease of life, and he went to Haridwar in India, performed austerities. At the end of his life, when he was purified, the Vishnu Dutas came down and took him on a flower aeroplane back to the spiritual world. And some people, even they chant derisively. They're like criticizing the Hare Krishnas. But still, they're eternally benefited. So what to speak of those who chant Hare Krishna, perform devotional service in full love and full attention? How much benefit is there? So that's because anything in devotional service is directly connected to Krishna. It's all the paraphernalia in the process of devotional service is for helping us remember Krishna. And it's all, because it's used in Krishna's service, it takes on a transcendental nature. Like Srila Prabhupada says, ordinarily an iron rod cannot burn, but if you put an iron rod in the fire for long enough, that iron rod takes on the properties of heat and light, and you can burn with that iron rod. So even this gross material body, and even though we're born in Kali Yuga with no understanding of God or who we are, what we're doing here, where we're going to, what is the real business of life, still this human form of life is a very valuable form of life. And without the mercy of the spiritual master and Krishna, this human life is, we cannot understand the process of Krishna consciousness. But by following the instructions of our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, and the Supreme Lord Krishna, like instructions of Bhagavad-gita, taking up this process, then even though this bad bargain, this body of mucus, bile, pus, skin, etc., can become a wonderful instrument in helping us advance in Krishna consciousness. Hridayam ajam sulabam sadulabam plavam sukalpam guru kanadhanam mayanukulena nabasvederatam puman bhavatim nataretsa apmaha. Says in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto that this human form of life is like a suitable boat to cross over the ocean of material suffering and ignorance. And the Bhagavad-gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are like the favorable winds, and the spiritual master is like a suitable captain. So if you have a good strong ship and you've got a good captain and you've got favorable winds, then the boat can easily cross to the other side of the world. So we've got this wonderful, valuable human form of life, which is like a suitable boat, spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, like suitable captain, expert captain, and Bhagavad-gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. So therefore we can use this boat to cross over this ocean of material suffering and ignorance and go all the way back home, back to Godhead. So it's a very wonderful, glorious process. We can't estimate the good fortune of those who engage in Krishna conscious activities. It's so powerful that by following this Krishna consciousness and purifying our existence and perfecting our life and becoming Krishna conscious like 24 hours a day, that's the goal, because the soul originally, as Krishna conscious 24 hours a day. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sajjakabanaya Shava Nadi Sutichiri Karayadaya. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita it states that pure love for Krishna is within the hearts of all living beings, cannot be taken away. When we begin Krishna consciousness by hearing this philosophy, hearing and chanting, hearing this philosophy, repeating this philosophy, hearing Hare Krishna, chanting, repeating Hare Krishna, then that natural, loving, dormant love for Krishna, for God, comes out. And eventually we can come to the platform where we're 24 hours a day thinking of Krishna, thinking of ways to please Krishna, thinking how to glorify Krishna, thinking how to serve Krishna, looking for ways to serve Krishna, looking for ways to engage other people in Krishna's service. So we can extricate ourselves from this horrible material world of birth, death, old age and disease and ignorance and suffering, and especially in Kali Yuga, it's a very dark, ignorant place with so much Kalodo Shene Tere Jan. It says in the Srimad Bhagavatam 12th canto, it's an ocean of faults. Astehekan Mahadgana, but there's one great quality, Kirtana Deva Krishna Shah. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukta Sangha Param Vijay. One can be liberated from all misfortune and promoted back to the spiritual world. So this chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, that's one of the powerful processes in Krishna consciousness. It's called the Yuga Dham, the process for this Kali Yuga. Simple process, because we're so fallen, we require a very simple process. In previous ages, in Satya Yuga, they lived for up to 100,000 years, the people, and they had to go to the Himalayas and meditate for up to 60,000 years, meditate on the Lord within the heart, sitting in the Himalayas. So we don't have the lifespan, we don't have the sense control, we don't have the attention ability to perform such a rigorous process. In Treta Yuga, the process was huge fire sacrifices. That priests would build huge fire sacrifices and they would offer tons of grain and ghee and gold into the fire to invoke the presence of God, Krishna. The next stage, Dwapara Yuga, the Bronze Age, the process was very opulent temple worship, huge temples they used to build. And we can see around the world there's some remnants of some huge temples from the previous age. But we don't have the the wealth to build such huge temples and very opulent worship. So we've been given in Kali Yuga a simple process, simply chanting Hare Krishna, dancing in ecstasy, and feasting on Krishna Prasadam. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave this simple process, and Srila Prabhupada, following in his footsteps, also gave us this simple process. This chanting of Hare Krishna is directly transported from the topmost planet in the spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan, Krishna's supreme planet. Goloka Premadana Harinama Sankirtana, chanting of Hare Krishna, directly transported from Goloka Vrindavan. Rati Najan Milu Kenetai. But we're so unfortunate we don't have a taste for this chanting of Hare Krishna or the process of devotional service. But the taste will come. The more we engage in Krishna conscious activities, the taste will come. And the proof of the pudding is in the eating, right? When you're hungry, you can't just, get a cup. If there's some honey in the cup, you can't think, well, I'll lick the outside of the cup and I'll taste the honey. No, you won't taste the honey. If it's a jar of honey, you have to take the lid off and put the spoon in the honey and put it in your mouth. Then you can know what the honey tastes like. So many people speculate, how do you know following Krishna consciousness is going to give you the perfection of life or happiness or attaining the supreme destination or the ultimate goal, Krishna Prem, pure love for Krishna. But we say, well, try it. Proof of the pudding is in the eating. Try it out for yourself. And it's practically experienced. Otherwise, why are some of us here like 20, 30, 40, 50 years? We're still practicing Krishna consciousness. We haven't given up. Because that taste for Krishna consciousness, for serving and loving Krishna, is so purifying, so powerful, so joyful, that it's very difficult to, once you've got a taste, to give it up. Raja, Krishna says, Raja Vijam, Rajagoyam, Pavitram idam uttamam, Pratyaksha Vagamam Dayam, Susukam Katam Avyayam. This knowledge is the king of education, It's the most secret of all secrets, and it's the purest knowledge because it gives direct perception of the self by realization. Therefore, it's the perfection of religion. And susukam katam avyayam, susukam. It's joyfully performed, and avyayam, it's everlasting. Material happiness, the more we try and squeeze out some pleasure in this material world from gratifying our senses, sex life, eating, sleeping, accumulating, making money, the more it becomes distasteful. It's the law of ever diminishing returns. That's material life. But spiritual life is anandam buddhivardhanam, an ever-increasing ocean of ecstasy and pleasure. So, Krishna is stating here himself that those who are on this path, sorry, wrong one, back. In this endeavour there's no loss or diminution. A little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. A little advancement, just a little advancement on this path. So many people are coming to this Krishna consciousness movement and they're making a little advancement. Some people, they just come and take prasadam, or they once come to the temple, they hear some kirtan, maybe they just meet the devotees in the street and they hear some kirtan, they hear the Hare Krishna kirtan, or they get a book, or maybe they don't even take a book, they just talk with the devotee, and the devotee they want to take a book, so the devotee touches them on the shoulder, Thank you for your time, have a nice day. So just by touching the book, they've done devotional service, immense devotional service. They've made so much advancement. And even a little advancement can save them from the greatest type of fear. What's that greatest type of fear? That the soul is going to fall back through the 8,400,000 species of life. Well, Krishna consciousness, through Krishna consciousness, and Srila Prabhupada, he's stressed to us many times that if people just hear the holy name, take a mouthful of prasadam, take these books, they're guaranteed of getting a human form of life in the next life. It's so powerful. They don't have to go through the 8,400,000 species of life. And as Krishna, a little further ahead in this, it's actually further ahead in the Bhagavad-gita, we can just read a couple of very poignant, relevant verses. So Krishna says, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Son of Prita, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. And in the purport, Prabhupada quotes that same verse that we read in the purport to 240. Chaktvasvadamam charanam bhujam hare. 1517 by Narada Muni. So those who weren't here before, it states, if someone gives up all material prospects and takes complete shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no loss or degradation in any way. On the other hand, a non-devotee may fully engage in his occupational duties and yet not gain anything. So the next couple of verses, Krishna says, Prapya punya kritam lokam ushitva shashvati shama suchinam srimatam gehe yoga brashta vijayate. The unsuccessful yogi, after many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. Srila Prabhupada says, the unsuccessful yogis are divided into two classes. One has fallen after very little progress. One has fallen after long practice of yoga. The yogi who falls after a short period of practice goes to the higher planets, where pious living entities are allowed to enter. After prolonged life there, one is sent back again to this planet to take birth in the family of righteous Brahmana, Vaishnava, or of aristocratic merchants. The next verse is Atava yoginam eva kuli bhavati dimatam itaddi durlabhataram loke janma yadijusham. Or if unsuccessful after long practice of yoga, he takes his birth in a family of transcendentalists who are surely great in wisdom. Certainly such a birth is rare in this world. So it's a very nice purport we can read also. Birth in a family of yogis or transcendentalists, those with great wisdom, is praised herein because the child born in such a family receives a spiritual impetus from the very beginning of his life. It is especially the case in the Acharya or Goswami families. Such families are very learned and devoted by tradition and training, and thus they become spiritual masters. In India, there are many such Acharya families, but they have now degenerated due to insufficient education and training. By the grace of the Lord, there are still families that foster transcendentalists generation after generation. We're certainly very fortunate to take birth in such families. Fortunately, both our spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Shri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, and our humble self, Prabhupada talking about himself, had the opportunity to take birth in such families by the grace of the Lord. And both of us were trained in the devotional service of the Lord from the very beginning of our lives. Later on, we met by the order of the transcendental system. So these verses are very powerful verses. So the unsuccessful yogi, after short practice, like bhakti yogi, he may fall down and not give up Krishna consciousness. So there's no loss, and his next life will take birth in either in the heavenly planets or here in a rich aristocratic family. And if one is unsuccessful after long practice, we may endeavour our whole life to be Krishna conscious, but at the end of life we may not be 100% Krishna conscious. Then there's no loss. One will take birth, Krishna says, in the family of transcendentalists, who are surely verily great in wisdom. So, no loss for a devotee, just stick to Krishna consciousness and we're guaranteed of either coming back here, being born in a family of devotees, or going back home, back to the spiritual world. So we should understand this powerful process of devotional service for our own benefit. Understand that the more I engage in Krishna conscious activities, the more I read and understand this philosophy. Like devotees, they like to read these books, and we like to read, even when we're reading to ourselves, we read out loud, because we understand that when we're reading out loud, the sound vibration is going in through the oral reception of the ears and affecting the heart. That transcendental sound vibration is very, very powerful. So as devotees, we get much realization how powerful it is just to hear and read out loud this philosophy, to understand this philosophy, to put it into practice, to always chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna, always engage in devotional activities, always take prasadam, always come to the holy places. Like it said, there's 5 most powerful items of devotional service. One is chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. One is to regularly hear the Bhagavad-gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. Another is associating with devotees. Another is worshipping the deity with faith and reverence. Another one is to always be in a holy place, like a holy dham. So this temple, this community is like the holy dham. So we're so fortunate that every day we have the opportunity to engage in these 5 most important and powerful items of devotional service. And understanding this benefit for ourselves, we should also understand the benefit for other people in general, en masse. That we should be compassionate and always feel that how can I give this Krishna consciousness to thousands of other living entities. And Srila Prabhupada has given us this Hare Krishna movement, that we're a preaching movement. We're not just here just for our own benefit, but Hare Krishna, we're preaching here, we're going out preaching daily as much as possible to benefit thousands of other conditioned souls. Understanding that if they just hear the holy names, even if they don't chant Hare Krishna, they just see the devotees chanting. They just get one of these books, even a small book. They just get a little bit of prasadam. They're eternally benefited. And Krishna will make more and more arrangement for them to come in touch with devotees again, to get more opportunity to render devotional service. And Srila Prabhupada said, my disciples, previously they were meat-eating, drug-addicted, sex-mongering hippies. And now by taking to Krishna consciousness, they're looking like the residents of Vaikuntha or Goloka. They're always blissfully smiling from ear to ear, the happy Haris. And they're dressed in beautiful transcendental clothes, saris and dhotis, and wearing kunti mala and japa mala and tilak and shaved heads, and blissfully engaging in Krishna consciousness and very purified, developing all pure qualities. Yasyasti bhakti bhagavati yakinchana savai gunas tatra samastate sara harava bhakta shakato mahadguna manorete nasadi davato bhatir. In the 5th canto it states that that one who takes to Krishna consciousness, he develops all the good qualities of Krishna and the demigods. But one who doesn't take to Krishna consciousness, he has no good qualities. Even though materially speaking it may seem like he has so many good qualities. Many people out there, they're material do-gooders. They, creating so many different charities and compassionate groups or welfare groups, But if it's not in connection with Krishna, with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then their so-called compassion, so-called tolerance, kindness, mercy is not real qualities. There's always some selfish motivation why they're doing their so-called good work, But automatically by practicing Krishna consciousness, these good qualities which are lying within the heart of all living beings can be brought out. Just like Prabhupada always gives this example of, if you're expert, you can rub 2 sticks together like the Aboriginals and you can bring out fire. You can't see fire, it's not overt in the wood, but it's lying dormant. But if you're expert, you can rub the sticks and bring out the fire. So all these good qualities, wonderful qualities, godly qualities, eternal qualities, divine qualities are lying within the hearts of even the most degraded, sinful people in Kali Yuga, even the thieves and the murderers and the prostitutes and the drug addicts. They all have these qualities, and by devotional service they can be purified and those natural qualities can be brought out. So we have to always think, how can we increase Krishna's family, bring people to the lotus feet of Guru and Krishna, because no one else is going to save them in this world. No one else is giving this philosophy to give solutions to all the problems of material existence, to give all the answers to the questions of life. Srila Prabhupada says these books give solutions to all the problems of life. What are the greatest problems in this world? Birth, death, old age and disease. Janma mrityu jara vyati dukkhadoshana darshanam, Krishna says in Bhagavad-gita. One should by experience see that the real problems of life is that the living beings are continually taking on birth after birth, death, old age and disease. And people are not happy with our Krishna consciousness, though they put on a very great show that I'm satisfied, I'm very successful, I'm happy, I've got so many followers and fame. Deep down they're not satisfied, therefore they have to take to intoxication and gambling and prostitution to try and squeeze out some happiness. But because without Krishna consciousness, it's like an animal running to a mirage in a desert. The animal may be dying of thirst and he sees a mirage in the distance in the desert. He's thinking, if I just get there, I'll get that water. But it's just a mirage, it's false, illusory happiness, and he dies on the way. So in the material world, people are working very, very hard for harsh masters in this world, selfish masters, thinking if they just work harder and harder they'll become satisfied, but they're like the foolish donkey. You go to Vrindavan, right? And you see the foolish donkey, they're loaded up with a ton of bricks or sticks on the back of a trailer, and the skinny little donkey is thinking, if I just keep walking, the man's driving the donkey and he has a bundle of dry grass on a stick and he's hanging it over in front of the donkey. The donkey's thinking, if I keep working for this master and working hard, I'll get that bundle of dry grass. But he's not realizing that, why does he have to work for such a horrible master? There's so much beautiful green grass on the side of the road. So people are working very, very hard in this world for, horrible masters who don't really care about their welfare, just to get a few, miserly dollars at the end of the day to gratify the senses. They're not thinking that, hang on, I don't have to work for this person. Krishna's the real master, and he's giving me the real green grass of Krishna consciousness, which I can be unlimitedly satisfied. So, material life is I forgot the Sanskrit word, but there's material life basically means 5 things. People work hard like a horse. You see a horse when it works hard, and then it foams at the mouth, and then it's frustrated and bewildered, and then there's death in the end. So people in the material world working for useless goals of life, it's like they work very hard, they sweat, they foam, they're frustrated, there's fear, and then there's death. So spiritual life is the opposite. We may work hard, but we work hard for the real Master, Krishna. And there's no fear. We become free of fear. Like Srila Prabhupada, his name Abhay Acharanaravinda, fearlessly situated at the lotus feet of Krishna and his spiritual master. So we can become free of fear, free of frustration, free of anxiety, and ultimately free of death. By taking to Krishna consciousness, Krishna guarantees that Savadamam Parijajamamikam Saranam Vaja Aham Tvam Savabhapebhyo Makshayishami Masu Jaha. Abandon all varieties of religion, or we can say all varieties of concocted goals of life. So many people have so many different concocted materialistic goals of life. Abandon all varieties of religion or concocted goals of life and just surrender unto me, Krishna says. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. So we have this opportunity, even though we've been here, it's considered Nityabhata, we're practically eternally conditioned souls. For millions of lifetimes, through all different species of life. According to our desire, we've achieved a certain type of body. Some people, they like to, live like dogs and pigs. So laws of nature give them a very suitable body in the next life. A pig's body, dog's body. So they can enjoy the particular type of sense gratification they want. The human form of life is actually not a very suitable body for sense gratification. There's many animal forms that are much more suitable. The dogs and the pigeons, they can have sex many, many times in a day. Human life is very restricted. The cows, elephants can eat a ton of food every day. How much can we eat? We can eat for 15 minutes, half an hour, and then you eat just a little bit more and you have to fast for 3 days. And so it's not meant for sense gratification. It's like, if you get a computer and you think, you don't read the instructions, you think, what is this computer for? I've got some walnuts here. Smash. So you wasted $3,000. So that's like people are, wasting their valuable human form of life for very insignificant goals. But the human form of life, if engaged sincerely, with enthusiasm and with guidance from the spiritual master, and always engaging in Krishna conscious activities, bhakti yoga, the process of bhakti yoga, loving devotional service to Krishna, doing everything with love and devotion, whether it's chanting, we chant with love and devotion, we read these books and hear this philosophy with love and devotion, how to become more Krishna conscious, how to understand this philosophy better so I can be a better instrument in Krishna's service. We serve the deities with love and devotion, dressing the deities, cooking for the deities, performing kirtan with love and devotion, performing so many varieties of services on the farm with love and devotion. Everything's meant to be tinged with love and devotion. Of course, if there's no real love or devotion there's still immense benefit. But so much more benefit if we can do everything for Krishna with love and devotion, with bhakti. That's the secret. Bhakti is the name of the process. Surrender is the game. So we can't underestimate or understand our good fortune that from this hellish existence in this world of death and this iron age of quarrel and hypocrisy in Kali Yuga, where people have no understanding whatsoever of spiritual life, and they're so much immersed in materialistic activities, still through this powerful process we can perfect our life, attain the perfection of life, Krishna consciousness, become completely ecstatic and happy, and attain the supreme destination, Goloka Vrindavan, the topmost planet in the spiritual world. Krishna says in the 16th chapter, Yeshasya virimutsrisha vatite kamakarata nasa siddhamavapnoti nasukam na param gatim. He who discards the scriptural teachings, injunctions, and acts according to his own whims attains nasukam, neither happiness, nor the perfection of life, becoming Krishna conscious, nor the supreme destination, param gatim, going back to the spiritual world. So, we have to think how to be Krishna conscious, how to see Krishna everywhere. Just like sometimes, we have on our beads, we chant on our beads, there are 108 beads on the round, right? 108 is a very auspicious number. There's 108 principal gopis who dance with Krishna in the rasa dance. And sometimes I've seen it even on people's number plates, 108. Has anyone seen that? And you think, that's Krishna telling me, reminding me of him, reminding me of 108 principal gopis, just on the number plate. Well, there's one of the devotee Sankirtan vans here, it's the blue and white van. Just by seeing the blue and white van, you can be reminded of Krishna and Balaram, right? And on the number plate it says CU, the letter CU, it's got 26, and then it says KC on the end. So I thought, that reminds me of CU at 26 Atkin Avenue in New York for Krishna consciousness. And when we go out in books in Brisbane, we call Brisbane Bridgebarn. It's like Vrindavan, Bridgebarn. And there's one street there, Roma Street Station, we call it Rama Street Station. Service paradise, the devotees are thinking service paradise. We're thinking of service to Krishna. For materialists, it's sufferer's paradise. So everything should remind us of Krishna. Just like I was in Los Angeles the other week with my daughters, and we got a couple of rides with taxis, and I was in my dhoti and hopped into the taxi, and I told the taxi driver I'm staying at the temple, Hare Krishna temple in LA, and he was driving us to there from some other place. And he said, "Oh, George Harrison. I've got some George Harrison songs that you probably never ever heard of, And I said, "Oh, I know My Sweet Lord." And he said, "Yes, that's very famous, but I've got other songs would you like to hear?" So he started playing some George Harrison songs which had some Krishna lyrics in as well. And another taxi driver, we said, "We're devotees of Krishna, we're going to the Los Angeles temple." And he said, "Oh, I can get Siri on my system here. She knows the whole Bhagavad-gita. You name a verse and she can recite it for you." So I picked out a verse and he got Siri to recite the verse. And Siri said, "I know the whole Bhagavad-gita. I've memorized the whole Bhagavad-gita." And then another time we hopped out in Manhattan in New York, we hopped out of the subway and I was on my dhoti and curd with Tilak, and this guy, black guy, straight away said, "Oh, Hari Bol, I've just been to Eco Village in India, and I've got to meet Raghunath Swami." And he opened his bag and he pulled out a book, and it was Raghunath Swami's book. And he said, "I haven't been to the temples in New York yet. I've grown up here all my life. I really want to go." And so we told him where the temples were, So you just don't know. Krishna has many arrangements to help us remember him and help give opportunities to help other people remember him as well. Yes, so that is the goal, to see Krishna everywhere. Always remember Krishna. Prabhupada was in Sydney once, back in 71, 72, like that. And he saw the sign Parramatta Road. I don't know if anyone's been to Sydney, but Parramatta Road is a major road going from the city out to the western suburbs. And Prabhupada said, Pramata. Pramata means very mad civilization. Sometimes we call Parramatta Paramatma, the super soul. We used to call Blacktown, another suburb, Shamtown. So, always have to think of Krishna, see Krishna everywhere. Krishna gives so many hints in the Bhagavad-gita. Rasoham apsa kuntaya. Krishna says, I am the taste of water. Prabhasmi sasa suyoyo. I am the light of the sun and the moon. Sabdake. I am the sound and ether. Sabdake Purusham Rishu. I am the ability in man. Krishna says, of beasts I am the lion, of aquatics I am the shark, of immovable objects I am the Himalayas, of sacrifices I am the chanting, of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So even when we taste that glass of water, we can remember this pure taste is coming from Krishna. It's a form of Krishna. Even in New York in 26th Avenue in 1966, Prabhupada was giving Bhagavad-gita class, and once this bum off the street, there was lots of bums in the Bowery at that time, around that area, like drunks and drug addicts, and this bum came in and he had some toilet rolls. And he walked straight through the crowd of devotees and went to the toilet and put the toilet rolls in the toilet. And Prabhupada, the devotees were thinking, who is this bum? We can't allow him to be here. And Prabhupada was saying, no, he's beginning his devotional service. And Prabhupada also said, even the alcoholic, when he drinks his wine, if he thinks that nice taste is coming from God, from Krishna, he'll make spiritual advancement. So, of course, Krishna is everywhere. Like I said, he's in that pure taste. He's the light of the sun and the moon. But that doesn't mean we can think, well, I just worship the light of the sun, or I worship the glass of water, or I worship the tree, because Krishna's in the tree as well, right? Or I worship a prostitute because Krishna's in the heart of the prostitute. No, we have to worship the authorized forms of Krishna, like the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, the Bhagavad-gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, the deity form, like that. These are the incarnations. The Lord is incarnated in these special forms in this age. Just like Srila Prabhupada says, you can think, well, I've written my letter to my friend over in Paris, so I'll just nail a little box together and put it in the box and it's going to go all the way. No, it won't go anywhere. But if you put that letter in an authorized mailbox or on the GPO, your letter will go all the way overseas to your friend. So if we follow the authorized process by chanting Hare Krishna, reading this philosophy, worshipping the deity form, eating Krishna Prasad, then we can become totally purified and go all the way back to the spiritual world. But if we just, worship Krishna in the glass of water, okay, Krishna's in that glass of water, but we're not going to make much advancement. So I'll stop there. Does anyone have any questions or comments? We have another microphone just here. Any questions outside or inside? Comments, realizations, stories, practical experience?
You were just talking about New York, Peru. I just wondered, did you go to 26th Avenue before? Was that the first time you've been?
I went years ago, and I went this time, and there was a program there, and it was beautifully. They've done it up very nicely. The devotees there. They have regular programs, maybe I think morning program every day, and then some evening programs.
And LA Temple, because I was there, and apparently they did that was LA Temple was actually where Prabhupada spent most of his time. They calculated.
In the Western world?
Yeah, in the Western world.
Probably. Well, Prabhupada coined it his Western world headquarters.
Yeah.
So yeah, very important. Yeah. Wonderful temple. A lot of preaching going on there, a lot of book distribution, Harinam, a lot of prasadam, have a very nice restaurant there, gift shop. And New York, there's the temple in Brooklyn and temple in Manhattan and 26 Second Avenue, and so lots of programs going on at those centers all the time. And there's Harinam going like 4 hours on the street, like 6 or 7 days a week, different locations. And New York's a wonderful place for spreading Christian consciousness because there's like so many people. New York's a huge place. It's like 100 blocks long, the Manhattan city. I got off at 34th Street and 7th Avenue. We're going to the Empire State Building with my daughters to go up the top, and there's like thousands of people crossing every minute. Every block is like that in Manhattan. You can have 108 Sankirtan parties with the Harinam book distribution in a city like New York. And Prabhupada said, no, whatever happens in New York, the rest of the world follows. So if Christian consciousness becomes very powerful and strong in New York, then it will take off all around the world. Because these other countries like Australia, England, New Zealand, they're all imitating America, right? Especially in New York. So Prabhupada considered it's the most important city in the world for Christian consciousness. And Fifth Avenue, where they have Rath Yatra, they just had it the other day in New York, the 50th anniversary of Rath Yatra in Fifth Avenue. Prabhupada said it's the most important street in the world. Because they have, materially speaking, it's most important to have all the big companies and the big businesses. But the fact that we have our Rath Yatra right in Fifth Avenue is very, very prominent. Some other questions or comments? Okay. We'll just read the verse again for those who weren't here in the beginning of the class. So this is chapter 2, we read from text 40. Nihibrakamanasusthi pratyavana vijite svapamapyashadharmasha trayati mahado bayat. In this endeavor there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad-gita ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you everyone for coming tonight. Hare Krishna. Now it's time for Arti. Gaur Arti and then Prasadam. What's Prasadam? Yeah, Prasadam's a bit later. Unfortunately I can't stay. I have to get home for my children. Make some dinner. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.